At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Krueger. I'm reporting to you second morning in a row here in Soda Springs. It is, kind of in the Donner area, basically Sugar Bowl Resort. I'm not familiar with the area, so it takes me a while sometimes to kind of pick where I'm at. Kingvale is where my Airbnb is. Of course, my son is staying with his team for snowboarding and skiing for Alpine in Soda Springs, and then of course they are competing at Sugar Bowl. So having a great time. He did great. The team did great. So we're very excited how well they've done so far. But what do you say we get to the forecast, shall we? And we're going to go ahead and get you to it right now. And there it is. Take a look at this. Now, if you didn't get a chance, it's too late. But I've been telling you about it really over the last week or so. The full lunar eclipse, of course, it's during a blood moon. Many of you sent a picture. I actually posted on Facebook early this morning, right around the time of the eclipse, and asked people to send their photos, and you delivered. Take a look at Carrie William. Sent that beautiful shot here. Here's another one from Janessa Prater, taking a look at that total lunar eclipse right there. Just a beautiful shot. You can kind of see some of the red colors in there. Others more of just kind of expressing and showing that shadow. You can see a great one. Now, Sandra said she took this on the dot at 3:33 a.m., which I believe was about 1 minute right before that full lunar eclipse. This is a nice shot from Sherry Gibson right before it went into that full lunar eclipse, where you kind of see the moon gets pretty dark at that point. Look at this great shot here from Isaac Rath. You can see, of course, some of the beautiful reds, that blood red moon that we hear about. And here's, look at this. This is coming in from Alexandra Craig Photography. I actually checked out her Facebook page, saw some of the great photography that she has, and be sure to check that out. But Alexandra, thank you so much for sharing this beautifully, professionally taken photo. If you want to share your photos, you can do it very easily from the free Weather NorCal app, from your iPhone, from your Android. It's very easy to do. And all you have to do is search for Weather NorCal in your app store, and you will be good to go. Well, what do you say we get to Krueger's Quickcast? This is for your Tuesday, March 3rd. Taking a look at those current temperatures out there right now in the valley. Temperatures mainly in the mid to upper 40s, really actually low to mid 40s. 42 degrees for Redding, 46 in Chico, 20s and 30s for the higher elevations. I know where I am, it's like low to mid 20s. It's cold up here. Of course, I'm at an elevation, I believe somewhere around 6,000 feet or so. Out the door this morning, I think we're going to see some of that fog for many of the mountain and inland valleys, not to mention along the coast. Unfortunately, for those of you along the coast, you had a hard time, if at all, seeing the eclipse because, well, the fog and those overcast skies. And of course, many of you that saw the fog overnight in those mountain and inland valleys as well. So high pressure is still the dominant feature. We do have an area of low pressure spinning over the Gulf of Alaska. This is going to be the next disturbance that will approach and impact us by tomorrow. If you're tracking the winds here for today, a little bit of a south wind at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So the wind's not terribly strong, just a bit on the breezy side. I do expect stronger winds though as we go into Wednesday through the end of the week. Look at this. This is not looking promising. As you know, they suspended operations out at the ski park, and they're hoping for more snow. I think we're all hoping for more snow, but unfortunately, that hope is not going to be enough. Chances for rain are mainly going to be on Wednesday. Otherwise, we're dry through the rest of the week and even as we go through the weekend. Temperatures today, much like yesterday, low set right around 70, give or take in the valley. We're talking 60s for most of the higher elevations and upper 50s today for the coast. Overnight tonight, temperatures upper 40s for the valley, looks like 30s for the mountains, and I'm expecting those temperatures to be in the mid to upper 40s for the coast. All right, here's your 7-day outlook. Now, really overall, it's going to be fairly dry for the valley. I think many of us in the valley are going to make it through the day Wednesday without a drop of rain. Maybe some clouds. There may be a passing sprinkle or light shower, but I think the bulk of any rain and even high elevation snow will be in the mountains. For the rest of us, it's just going to be mainly dry conditions and then warming up. Look at that, get up to 80 degrees by the weekend for Redding. For the coast, you got a better chance for rain, especially in Del Norte County. Humboldt County, I think you're going to see less rain, but there's still going to be that chance for showers inland and for Trinity County, but also drying out and warming up as we go into the weekend. Now, we've got snow levels on average between 4,000 and 5,000 feet. Now, keep in mind, at those lowest of elevations, you'll be lucky to pick up any snowflakes at all. Number two, you have to go pretty high in elevation before you pick up maybe 2, 3, maybe upwards of 4 inches of snow at the highest of elevations. So this is not a very high impactful storm, if you will, coming through on Wednesday. All right, take a look at some of the cameras out there this morning. You can see some beautiful sunrise pictures, looking at some of those beautiful colors coming out. We got some people checking in this morning. Let's kind of check in with some of you here. Let's look at Main Street Chico, by the way. Let's see here. One of the comments coming in from James and Maddie Chapel saying, perfect picture. I'm sure she was talking about the one, that last one that I did show of that blood moon. Good morning, Mike. Blood moon was cool. You know, there were so many trees around me. I couldn't see it, and it was low on the horizon. So I just couldn't get out there and see it. So I was very grateful that many of you took photos and we were able to share those. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm glad many of you were able to go out there and check it out, even though it was so early in the morning. Sundial Bridge Drive on Highway 44, you can see looks like traffic is flowing smoothly there, at least based on that latest image. Hey, look at that. Beautiful sunrise picture coming in from Crescent City Harbor District. Just some clouds. I do think you're going to see partly to mostly cloudy skies today. Bald Hill West looks like you've got some clearing skies there, at least not looking at necessarily the fog, but there are some overcast skies above you, so it may have been difficult to see that eclipse. Look at that beautiful picture from Soda Ridge looking out at Mount Shasta. Just a beautiful shot right there. Always, you know, where we can get that shot of Shasta with the beautiful sunset, or sunrise that is. Fort Jones looks like socked in with that fog. You know, I had an opportunity to get on the chair at Sugar Bowl from one of the students, one of the skiers from Etna. I had a chance to talk to him, and we talked about Scott Valley. And he was actually very proud of where he lived. He loved it. The small high school at Fort Jones and Etna combined together, and they have a skiing and snowboard team that was had been sunset. Had a hard time getting that team going, but here recently, the last several years, they've really bulked up that program, and it's great to see them out there on the slopes with their teams. So always good to see that. So there's, again, a look at Fort Jones, looking down at that fog that they've got out there this morning, and you can see Lassen Park. Some of the beautiful colors coming in from that sunrise as well. Off in the distance, you can see some of the snow off over the mountains. Another look at the total lunar eclipse from some of my favorites from this morning. This is from Sandra Oswald saying this was on the dot at 3:33 in the morning. And look at this from Isaac Rath. You've got that blood moon effect going on right there. Absolutely spectacular. This was even more spectacular with a much more detail. You see, you can really get it with your phone, and that's great. But if you've got a really good digital camera, you can get images like this. So I want to thank Alexandra Craig from Alexandra Craig Photography for sharing this photo. All right. You can share your photos from the free Weather NorCal app, whether it's on your iPhone or your Android. It's very easy to do. All right, as you know, we've got sponsors here at Weather NorCal, and the sponsor of Coffee with Krueger is Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. All right, let's take a look at that headlines for today. More of the same today, a minor blip, if you will, for tomorrow. Isolated showers, maybe some snow in the mountains, but it's not going to be a lot of rain, and it's not going to be a lot of snow. Dry and warmer the rest of the week and through the weekend. All right, let's take a look at your deep dive forecast for your Tuesday, March 3rd. This is when we really get into it and take a look at the full analysis here. So temperature is generally in the mid-40s right now in the valley, give or take. Obviously much colder in the mountains where we've got 20s and some low 30s in there, but right around 50 towards the inland areas and along the coast. So you can see the cold front, the area of low pressure spinning over the Gulf of Alaska. That's approaching us, and that will eventually have an impact on us, but it's going to be fairly minimal. Now, I want to show you this. You see that trough that kind of moves on through. It's digging deeper than we initially thought even from last week, so we're really getting a better handle on it. Now, it's a fairly moisture-starved system, and what I mean by that is typically storms that come from the Gulf of Alaska, they're cold, right? But they typically don't have a lot of moisture associated with them. You've got to get a nice tap of that subtropical moisture from our south, which this storm is not tapping into that at all. And that's why I don't expect to see a lot of rain or snow for that matter. Once that moves out, we're going to see a bit of a north wind setup. Now, we're going to notice the winds picking up as the system passes through on Wednesday. Then Thursday, Friday, we're getting a bit of a squeeze play from the high pressure to our west and to our east. The counterclockwise rotation around the low, clockwise rotation around the high. And that squeeze play is what gives us those breezy, gusty north winds. Now, as that low pressure dives down to the south, we start to see those winds begin to relax, and we're going to be looking at much warmer weather over the weekend and even going into next week. Now, this is something I just wanted to mention because the Storm Prediction Center is indicating that pretty much all of Northern California has once again a chance for thunderstorms. Now, I want to take you back to what we saw over the weekend. For those of you that experienced those thunderstorms, you're thinking, oh boy, we're going to see it again. And my response to that is probably not. As I mentioned, it's a fairly moisture-starved system. It's not as dynamic, not as intense as the area of low pressure that moved through us over the weekend. So this is why I really don't anticipate there to be much in the way of thunderstorm activity here for tomorrow. All right, so let's show you on Futurecast where we expect most of that activity. Of course, today we're dry, still some clouds to the west, but otherwise mainly sunny skies for the valley eastward. Now you can see that trough of low pressure coming in tomorrow morning, and we actually do have some rounds of moderate to heavy rainfall, I think, in some areas, especially along the coast, northern Trinity and western Siskiyou County. You'll also notice some snow in there between 4,000 and 5,000 feet. You see how as we go into midday, most of the activity will pretty much have pushed off to our east. The valley, a bit of a shadowing effect. That is, we just don't see as much rainfall there. And going through the afternoon, there may be some afternoon, what we call afternoon convection. But once, due to the fact that we don't have a lot of moisture, it's hard for us to really squeeze out any moisture and give us any showers. And you can see some of the snow flurries here and there, but that's it. And then we go into the overnight hours into Thursday, and it's dry again. In fact, we'll be dry through the rest of the week. We'll be dry through the weekend, and we will be dry going into next week as well. So really, overall, no big changes going on there, right? Forecast rainfall totals, yeah, as expected, it's not picking up on any measurable rainfall for the valley. Most of it will be in Del Norte County. Now, some of the models are indicating upwards of an inch, but here's a different forecast model. And you can see it's a little bit more aggressive with the rainfall, but actually kind of agrees with that half inch in Crescent City that our other forecast model showed. So, but a little bit more aggressive with maybe trace amounts to maybe 1/100th out in parts of the valley, but that will most likely be the extent of it. Snow, all right, so there you can see, look at the summit of Mount Shasta. Look at the Warner Mountains in Modoc County. You see that darker blue? Maybe a little over 4 inches if you're lucky. So this is why I expect over the highest of elevations, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 feet, to maybe see 2 to 4 inches of snow. Otherwise, below that, you'll be lucky to get any accumulating snow. All right, I was talking about the winds picking up on Wednesday and going into the end of the week as well. So there you can see on Wednesday, especially for the valley, really, you'll see that north wind, 20 to even maybe close to 30 miles per hour. We're going to do that again on Thursday and once again on Friday. Against that setup here with the high pressure to our west, low pressure to our east, and we're seeing those winds. Now, I do expect that maybe by Saturday the winds will start to relax a bit. Here's your Climate Prediction Center precipitation outlook. Drier than normal. No surprise there, right? We're not expecting much in the way of rain. No surprise here either. Warmer than normal as we go into the middle of March. There's your 10-day trend. Yeah, 80 degrees coming up here on Sunday. Mid to upper 70s basically for Saturday through Monday, and then a dip in our temperatures, but still above normal for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. The latest lake level reports were not coming down off of their website, so this is basically off of yesterday. So the increases we've seen in the last 24 hours are probably not as dramatic as you're seeing here, but still most likely some increases over the last 24 hours. Wave heights are pretty low here for today, but I do expect with that approaching weak storm system coming in on Wednesday, the wave heights will start to increase a bit. Let's look at your marine forecast for your Tuesday. West winds at 5 knots, and there are no advisories in the forecast. Here is your neighborhood forecast sponsored by Dignity Health. We take a look at that forecast for Trinity County, mainly mid-60s. I've got snow levels around 4,000 feet on Wednesday, but remember, as I'm mentioning, it's just not going to be a lot. Probably won't even impact Scott Mountain Pass much, maybe a light dusting of snow on the road there. And then on Wednesday, you can see the better chances for rain, I'd say, on the coast, especially northward, northern Humboldt, Del Norte County, even some of those inland areas seeing a decent chance for some of that rain too. For Siskiyou County, you're dry today. You're looking at that chance for showers tomorrow with snow levels around 4,000 feet. But as we saw, it's not going to be significant snow. 4,500 feet for Alturas and towards Modoc County as well, and then drying out and warming up. So again, we've got that chance for showers for pretty much everyone, especially in the mountains Wednesday. And then it just dries out, warms up toward the end of the week and this upcoming weekend. For the valley, temperatures flirting with the 70s at least for places like Corning and Hamilton City. Chico, you'll get up to about 62 degrees on Wednesday. So a dip in the temperatures as that system does pass through. And by the way, you can't forget that on Sunday morning, I typically do it before I go to bed if I've got an analog clock that's not connected to the internet. You got to set that clock forward. Otherwise, you'll be off by an hour. Take a look at the Valley neighborhood forecast to the north. I think some of us are going to see some low 70s for today. And your 7-day forecast for Redding, back up to mid to upper 70s, even around 80 for Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday of next week. Okay, well, again, I am coming to you from, where am I coming to you from? I'm coming to you from Kingvale, California. If you missed this at the very top of the show, I'm here through the week, through Thursday. We're leaving Thursday evening. I'll be back in my studio on Friday, hopefully. But I'm here for the states competition. So people from all over California are here at Sugar Bowl. Very exciting. They had their first snowboarding competition yesterday. They have it again today. And then tomorrow and Thursday will be the skiers. So very excited. Aiden did great. I'm very proud of him. He didn't fall. I was very excited both times. And it was funny too. Not funny. I was kind of sad for him. But as he was going down his first run, his goggles completely fogged up. And he had to really slow it down. Let me get that out of here. Hold on. Get that back. So his goggles fogged up, so he had to really take it easy on his first run. So he probably would have done better had his goggles not fogged up. And then the second time, he just ended up taking them off, and he got a much faster run. So he did great. So again, I was very proud of him. Like I said, I'm going to be here through Thursday. So I'll continue to do Coffee with Krueger and your 6 o'clock in the morning update from my portable studio here. But just note that meteorologist Aurora Murray will be filling in for me for the rest of the day. She'll be doing the afternoon hit and also the evening forecast and keep you updated with the latest, what's going on here. So be sure to check that out here throughout the week. And we will be back here again tomorrow morning. I hope you all have yourselves a great day. Thanks again for sharing your total lunar eclipse photos if you did so. I appreciate that. And we will see you tomorrow morning. Let's take you to some great cameras out there, and we'll get ready for the day, and have a good one, folks.